No matter what time it is, the NBA draws a wide range of people. Some guys make it to the league because they work hard and love the game more than anything else. They do their work with the care and precision of someone whose life depends on being able to do it well, without making waves, causing distractions, or stirring up trouble. This is not our group, beginning with Charles Barkley and Javaris Crittenton. Sir Charles was always one of the NBA's most colorful personalities, never afraid to give an outrageous quote or stir up controversy. In 1991, he tried to spit on a fan who was calling him racial slurs, but the spit went in the wrong direction and hit a little girl instead. This was his most famous mistake. There was also Nike's controversial "I am not a role model" campaign. Barkley told people who looked up to him to raise your kids, which started a national debate about the role of athletes in society. He also didn't back down on or off the court, which led to several arrests during his career. One of the most famous was when a guy threw an empty glass at Barkley in a bar fight, but Sir Charles grabbed the guy and threw him through a plate glass window. There are many kinds of crazy. Sometimes it just means that the person has a lot of silly hairstyles and personal quirks that most people find cute and make them unique. Then there's crazy like a sociopath who wouldn't think twice about hurting you very badly. From what we know, we can say that Javaris Crittenton is the second one. He didn't care about the safety of others when he brought guns into the Wizards locker room, so it doesn't come as much of a surprise that he's now being tried in Atlanta for drug trafficking and murder. Next, Marvin Barnes and Dennis Rodman. Marvin Awful News Barnes would have ruled SportsCenter if he had lived during this time. The man was known for his crazy behavior, especially when he was in the ABA. Barnes himself put it best when he said, "I'm a basketball player, not a monk. I play the women, the clothes, the cars, and everything else that I can play. There are people who play and people who watch. The people who get played are called playees. I'm a good player." Barnes' best story might be about the time he missed the team flight, took a private plane to the game, got there 10 minutes before tip-off, and announced as he walked into the locker room that he had missed the team flight. He said, "Guys, it's game time," ate a bag of McDonald's, and then went out and scored 51 points and got 19 rebounds. We think it's safe to say that Bad News Barnes will never happen again. Dennis Rodman is by far the strangest and sometimes most dangerous person who has ever played in the NBA. During his playing days, he did things that ranged from harmless, like dyeing his hair and taking off his shoes on the bench, to mean, shoving refs and kicking cameramen. The Worm has reached a new level of madness by freely associating with and being a friend for life of North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un. Kim Jong-un is one of the worst people in the world. Just when you think that Rodman might be losing his edge, he does something completely crazy to remind everyone that he'll always be the king of crazy. Moving on, Rasheed Wallace. Rasheed Wallace had skill, there's no doubt about that. Together with Scottie Pippen, he led the Portland Trail Blazers to the Western Conference Finals, where they were on the verge of making it to the finals. During his prime, Wallace was one of the most skilled and versatile forwards. He was athletic and had a variety of post moves, a nice fadeaway jumper, a three-point shooting stroke, and above-average defensive skills. Even though he was smart, he was better known for being a hothead. In 2001, he had a crazy 41 technical fouls. That's almost 2 technical fouls per game. Wallace's temper was like no one else's. He was also the Portland Jailblazers mascot. Members of the team got into trouble on and off the court, which was not a good sign for the team. Bonzi Wells, a team captain, made an obscene gesture at fans. Zach Randolph was caught smoking in his Cadillac. Damon Stoudemire was caught at the Tucson airport trying to sneak weed in. At one point, Wallace even tried to hurt disgraced referee Tim Donaghy. All of these things seem like they came from a gangster movie, but this really happened. No one, friend or foe, was safe from Wallace's anger. Arvydas Sabonis saw this with his own eyes. Sabonis hit Wallace by accident when he was trying to get Shaquille O'Neal to make a mistake. Wallace was angry, so he threw a towel at Sabonis. Wallace also argued with other top power forwards every night. No one was safe from Sheed, not even Kevin Garnett or Karl Malone. Next up, Ron Artest meta world peace. Ron was a great defender when he was at his best. In 2004, he was named the Defensive Player of the Year, and in both 2004 and 2006, he was nominated for the NBA All-Defensive First Team. In 2003 and 2009, he was named to the NBA's All-Defensive Second Team. He was an important part of the Indiana Pacers, Sacramento Kings, Houston Rockets, and Los Angeles Lakers. He helped the Los Angeles Lakers win the NBA Finals against the Boston Celtics. The Lakers won because of how well he played in Game 7. Artest has always been good at what he does. People have been upset with the Knicks for a long time because they didn't pick up the New Yorker and instead went with a French player who had never even played in the NBA. In the very next pick, Artest was taken by the rival Chicago Bulls. Even though Artest was a great defender, he will always be remembered for starting the Malice in the Palace incident. On November 19, 2004, a fight broke out between the Indiana Pacers and the Detroit Pistons at the Palace of Auburn Hills. This made it impossible for Reggie Miller to get a ring before he retired. Artest changed his name to Metta World Peace to show that he had become a better, more peaceful person. But you can't change how a leopard looks. Now we have DeMarcus Cousins. Boogie Cousins might be the best center in the NBA right now. He could do anything, like post up, hit a mid-range jumper, do a pick and roll, or hit a three-point bomb. He played for the Sacramento Kings for more than 6 years, and each year he got better. The team never made it to the playoffs because Boogie wasn't surrounded by enough good players to compete in the Western Conference. Boogie almost played in the playoffs with the New Orleans Pelicans, but he got hurt before the playoffs started. Everyone in the league knew Boogie had a fiery temper. No one is safe from Boogie's anger, not Marcus Smart, Kevin Durant, Zach Randolph, or Nick Stauskas. He gets angry easily and would get mad at anyone and everyone. Boogie signed a one-year deal with the Golden State Warriors to show the league what he could do. Even though he made the playoffs again, he still hasn't won a title. Draymond Green. Draymond Green is the person who makes the Warriors work. Green isn't a great scorer like Steph Curry or Klay Thompson, but he does the little things that matter. Every night, he guards the best player on the other team. Every game, he goes up against the best big men in the league. He also scores points, grabs rebounds, passes the ball, steals the ball, and blocks shots. He's like a Swiss Army knife for the Warriors. Green's short temper comes from how much he loves the game. Tom Izzo knew this, and while he was at Michigan State, he did his best to keep Green in line. Now it's up to Steve Kerr to tame the tough guy from Michigan. People say that Green is the Warriors' heart, but his passion can sometimes be what brings them down. Take the 2016 NBA Finals as an example. The Warriors were ahead 3-1 and about to win again. Green and LeBron James got into a fight, and Green was suspended because of it. The Cavaliers went on to win Game 5 and the series as a whole. The Cavs would make history by being the first team to win the NBA Finals after being down 3-1. Green is also known for kicking players like Danny Green, Kevin Durant, Steven Adams, and Kyrie Irving. Because of this, there are a lot of technical fouls. When the Warriors go to the playoffs every year, Green is often in danger of getting suspended. Finally, Steven Jackson. Greg Popovich was strict because he had been in the military with the United States Air Force. This might be good for players like David Robinson, Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, and Manu Ginobili, but Steven Jackson didn't like it. Jackson had to work hard to get into the league at all. Jackson was picked 42nd overall by the Phoenix Suns in 1997, but he had to play overseas in the CBA before he could play in the NBA. New Jersey gave him his first chance when they signed him and let him play for them for his first season. With 8.2 PPG and 1.1 SPG, he showed some promise. The next season, he was signed by the San Antonio Spurs. Jackson would often fight with coach Greg Popovich because he was so strong-willed. Even though they had different ideas, the Spurs still made Jackson an offer, but he turned it down and ended up with the Atlanta Hawks. Jackson's stock went up after a season with the Hawks in which he averaged 18.1 PPG, 1.8 SPG, and 3.1 APG. The Hawks were able to trade Jackson for Al Harrington. Jackson added to the Pacers' already strong team. Reggie Miller was about to get his first championship ring from the Pacers. This didn't happen. Their plans fell apart because of the Malice in the Palace. Jackson would finish his career with the Golden State Warriors, where he helped an underdog team beat the Mavericks in the playoffs in 2007. The We Believe Warriors did something that seemed like it could only happen in sports movies. Jackson would finish his career playing for the Charlotte Hornets, the Milwaukee Bucks, the San Antonio Spurs, and the Los Angeles Clippers. Who was the craziest according to you guys? Well, that's it for today. Hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Till next time, cheers.